Hello everyone, welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Pod. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Hello, everybody.
How are we doing?
Not too bad.
Jolly good.
Yeah, doing
Is
well.
that it?
I had some
Just falling
400 cal pizza, living my best life. Can't complain at all.
Living your worst life by the looks of that pizza, I'm sorry. I have to say.
It's a crime against Italians. So.
Yeah.
Be right, they'll get over it.
No, they won't. But, shall we move on? To news, big news. Now, we've purposely avoided this news for ever, but finally something's actually happened, so we're back to talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, a California judge has ruled in favour of Microsoft after 5 days of testimony between them and the FTC, who sought to impose a preliminary injunction on the deal. Of this Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So the ruling now paves the way for the acquisition to be closed before its deadline on July the 18th, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe.
I mean, everyone's saying at 9 a.m. on Monday, this is going to be done. So before this podcast releases, it'll be a done deal.
Yes, because it is because that date is the date of this pod releases. Yeah. So who knows? Things could have completely changed by the time this comes out. It could be done deal. I've got a funny feeling it probably won't though. I think it's going to drag its heels just a bit longer.
It's got to, because if it doesn't go through by then, there'll be a nice $3 million in Bobby Kotick's pocket.
Yeah, like he needs more money.
Did I say million? I meant billion.
Yeah.
I thought I said billion. But anyway, yeah.
I
think it's going to got to.
You think what, sorry?
I think it's going to get pushed through.
You think it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Before then, I don't think it is.
Really?
I think it's going to drag on just a bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's pretty much one domino left to fall, isn't there now, and that's the UK.
So obviously back in, was it April, they rejected it.
Something like that.
Oh yeah.
But Microsoft could close the deal without their approval. But obviously that leads to complications in our market.
Mm-hmm.
But since the court ruling, both Microsoft and the CMA have stated that they're entering further negotiations together before the legal court battle happens, which I think is due to commence on July 28th.
Okay.
And since this ruling as well, the FTC have also announced that they're going to appeal that decision. Because of course they are. But what? I don't see it getting overturned. But
Yeah. I think I could be wrong. I think I read somewhere that I think FTC's appeal got rejected. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that
Well,
happened
fast
yesterday.
then.
Yeah, I think that
really
happened
quick.
yesterday.
Backwards and
They were
forwards
like,
have been literally 2 hour gaps.
not happening. Can't appeal. Go away.
Well, fair enough then. I stand corrected, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Just
Also,
in regards to- go on.
I was just going to add for the CMA as well. They've extended the deadline for its final decision to August the 29th.
Oh, plenty of time there.
Dragging on. Dragging on. There's no end in sight, is there? Just when we thought we'd get into the end game, they pull us back in yet again.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that Mr. Bobby's going to get that $3 billion.
I bet he's eager for it to happen, isn't he? He wants the deal to happen, but he wants this to pass first. Just so he gets a bit more dough.
Just extend it a little longer.
Yeah.
And then I'll bugger off with my cool $3 billion.
Well, just in regards to the CMA, I did read on Bloomberg that Microsoft are considering selling off some of the UK cloud gaming rights in a bid to try and appease them in the decision.
Okay.
But I don't know who they'd sell them to. Luna? PlayStation? I'm not sure who'd pick them up, to be honest.
PlayStation, can you imagine?
Apple, maybe.
That was more pie in the sky than anything else. Yeah.
But to be honest, I think the CMA are going to change their decision.
Oh, of course they are.
Once
they get the pockets greased enough, they'll be all right.
Yeah. They don't want to be left out in the lurch. I admire the guts. Sure. I admire the guts though for going against it, but I just think it's inevitable.
Yeah. I think the only body that could have stopped it was the FTC, and they failed, so it's going to happen, innit?
Yeah. Cool.
That's
How long
it.
has this been going on for now, actually?
18 months.
It feels a lot longer.
Feels like 18 years.
Well, I can't remember. It's been like a lifetime, hasn't it?
Yeah. It feels like since the beginning of this pod, this has been the through thread throughout all of it.
No.
It'll be disappointing when it's done.
It probably felt like
Yeah,
it, but I think it's been...
No, that's what I'm saying. It feels like it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep saying we'll see where it goes, but I just want the end. So
It's almost there.
So we can just draw a line under it.
It's almost there.
So until I find a decision, like,
For Monday at 9 o'clock, once we get the info through that it's done.
Yeah, and this is all out of date.
Nice message. That's it.
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll just delete the entire pod because all this will be pointless now. Anyway, have we got any other news?
Well, we had a EA Sports FC 24 reveal.
Did we have a reveal?
We had an official reveal. Let's
Yeah.
We had a live stream.
An official teaser reveal.
You know what? I really enjoyed it.
It was interesting. So it started out, didn't it, with Andrew Wilson, the CEO of EA. I don't like the man, I have to say.
I thought he came across quite likeable.
Oh, no, he came on and started spouting his life story about Island's football and all this, and I just didn't care.
I did. I'm properly invested.
No.
I'm buying Ultimate Edition now because of his story.
That's all scripting that I did before. A bit like the games, just scripting.
What, his life's a script?
Yes.
You didn't really work at that restaurant with 19 nationalities, did you?
And then after he'd finished his gubbins, is it Cam Webber? Was that his name?
Yeah.
The president of EA Sports came on. And then they spoke about the EA Sports FC Futures project, which is quite good, I have to say.
Putting $10 million into
quite...
building pitches and initiatives. It's a good thing to do.
Yeah, so they're partnering with football organisations and football icons and to provide access to new and refurbished pitches, drills and equipment. And apparently some of these pitches will make it into the game.
Oh.
So they said. And they've got a partnership with UEFA, making free training videos using the in-game skills mode. I'm not quite sure what that is or how that works, but that's what they said. Curious. And then the vice president of EA Sports FIFA. Sorry, EA Sports FC. Can't use that word. Speaking of which, they tried really hard not to say that word, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
I was waiting for someone to slip and say it by accident.
Do you know what? Spoiler alert. Erling Haaland comes in at the end wearing green pajamas, but yes. I thought he was going to say it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say it. But we'll get on to that. But then this David Jackson came on and he just started showing off these random trophies.
Yeah. So Alex Scott comes out.
Yeah, Alex Scott as well. UEFA Women's Champions League winner. And they just teased these missing trophies, didn't they?
Yeah, because there were 4 podiums to put the trophies on.
Yeah, so we've got 2 new women's leagues now, apparently. So we've got Spain's Liga F, is it?
Yeah.
And Germany's Frauen Bundesliga. Frauen Bundesliga, is that how you pronounce it? Do you think Bundesliga is just a nice word to say? Bundesliga.
It flows well, and it's quite aggressive as well.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. The Bundesliga.
Quite.
That's Bundesliga.
That's just German.
My 73.3% German agrees.
Yeah, this is where things got a bit weird. So they announced these deals they had. So they got one with La Liga, and then randomly Luis Figo turns up, and he just walks on the stage.
That was so awkward.
He just walks on the stage, puts the trophy down, and just walks off to no applause.
Yeah, it was a bit like I reckon all those in the audience were like Barcelona fans, like we remember. We remember.
Tripping him up as he goes.
And then they announced the exclusive deal with the Premier League. And then Didier Drogba comes up.
Yeah.
With the trophy.
Do you know what? I miss him without his hair. He just doesn't look like Drogba anymore. It's like Drogba light.
And they were acting like they'd never had the Premier League before, to be honest. It was very odd.
Yeah.
It
I don't understand why that was missing from the cabinet,
isn't it? Because it's like they make it seem as though like, oh, we've never had the Premier League trophy in the game, and I'm like, I'm sure you have. Like, why are we? What's going on here?
And then we got to the Champions League, didn't we? And then Ronaldinho struts out.
Yeah.
He gets the full catwalk.
That's it. It came on like Jesus.
Yeah.
The light shining against him.
Like, oh. Yeah.
That's just another weird one as well. Like the trailers, like the Champions League either.
Yeah.
Like what? You've had it for the last 2-3 years.
I just think it was an excuse just to throw their might, wasn't it? That is what it was. That is literally all it was. And then what was this guy's name? Nick Ladika? Was that his name? Senior VP and GM of EA Sports FC. And then he banged on about what's new about technical things about the game. Yes, it started with the Hypermotion V technology. And it says here, it utilizes volumetric capture for more than 180 matches to build the most precise animations ever. Every one of these games, they say this sort of gubbins. And I can never tell the difference ever. Ever.
One thing that I found interesting, that it can capture a match and then within like a week it can be in the game, so if someone does a certain action. I thought that was quite interesting.
But
I'd like to see how that gets incorporated though.
But they kept showing that Haaland weird kick thing he did.
Yeah. Champion.
But does that mean it's going to be overused in game if they're going to put it in? Because it's like
players that can do it. It's not everyone.
Or does that make it OP then for certain players?
I mean, only certain players can do things anyway.
I don't know.
Well,
it depends on what star rating you've got in skill moves, for example.
I treat it more as though like the more sort of unique things that happen in the game, they'll be able to incorporate more unique animations within the game that can be incorporated. So then obviously the AI learning has to determine, okay, when a certain ball comes in, it has to determine through different parameters of like kick strength for obviously where players position stuff to like determine what type of kick it needs to sort of produce within the game.
Because my point basically is that's like a once in a lifetime kind of goal, that kind of kick.
Yeah.
And if you incorporate that into a game, is that just going to happen numerous times and make it look more common? Am I making sense?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. If there's something that happens once and then everybody starts using it and it gets overly used, when it's not a norm within the game.
Because if one very unusual thing happens, should that be immediately thrown into the game? I just find it odd. Because it's not a normal technique. I can understand all these other, like recording all these other matches and recording all these other techniques and things that you see in every game. But like once in a lifetime things, I just think it's a bit weird.
Well, I think it might have just been more to showcase as an example rather than that's what it's going to be.
Maybe.
But there is one thing. They need to get that thing to watch a YouTube video of Rene Higuita's Scorpion save, and we can have that in FIFA.
EA Sports FC.
Shit.
Oh,
that's bad.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Sorry. Yeah, EA Sports FC. I can't believe I said that.
Yeah,
it's alright. It's going to take a while for us to get used to.
This is the thing. It just is, isn't it? I'm really shocked someone didn't let slip during that presentation.
Well, they're professionals.
Or they're reading off auto cue.
Or there's also that. We do not have auto cue.
Yeah. So then we moved on from that hypermotion stuff to the Frostbite. And then this was divided into 3 bits, weren't it? So you had the EA Sports Sapien. Interesting name. And it says, delivers body forms, not that one, I don't think, 10 times more precise than previous iterations. Is that body shapes? Is that supposed to show muscle bulges and things like that?
Maybe, yeah.
Is that what we're getting at?
The way I saw it, it was movement to the flow of the shirt against the body.
What's the second bit? GPU cloth. That was a bit about, so that's models the fit of the kits to players. So they flow in the wind and stuff like that. I just want to see shirts getting ripped. That's what I want to see. When players grab your shirts and all that. That's what I want to see. The celebrations, put it over your head. That's what I want.
And it said animations of players have to walk off at pitch to get new shirts.
Yeah. And it says measures movement to the smallest detail. That's very vague. That sounds like guff to me. And then we finished with the match day experience of that. So now we've got dynamic match intros. We've got match day menus. I don't know what that means exactly. And never before seen angles of the action, including new footage of pundits and commentators. Please, let's not see Lee Dixon.
I was thinking the opposite. Get Lee Dixon in.
No. Anything but him. But I'm guessing Alex Scott is going to be in it, because I think they showed her as a pundit, didn't they?
Yeah.
But don't know who the commentators are yet, but probably the same as the previous games, I imagine.
Yeah, Andy Gray back in.
Oh, we do not.
And Richard Keys.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then we went on to something else, which is play styles, which is a completely new thing. So this apparently is a thing optimized by Opta, the football player data analyst.
Oh, yeah.
And so using this, they equip players with their signature abilities. Is this just going to make certain players OP?
Well, it's going to give certain players, like, signature playstyles, aren't they? Like, you can imagine how, like, Messi is just going to be, like, the guy who no one can ever tackle, so.
And then everyone just ends up playing, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It just gets really boring. But, yeah. It is what it is. But then, of course, we get to Ultimate Team. That thing. Can't call it FUT anymore, can we? It's UT.
Oh, crumbs, we can't.
Yeah, it's UT.
Yeah, UT.
It's just Ultimate Team.
Yeah. So, as I think was it announced or was it rumoured before? But women are coming to Ultimate Team now.
I think it was rumoured, yeah.
Which is good. Can't argue with that. If Ultimate Team is going to exist, it's a good thing that women are in it. Then we've got a release, which was rumoured, sort of leaked before. That's September the 29th, with early access, September the 22nd, whole week before. With that
that's if you get the Ultimate Edition.
Yes.
It says you pre-order the Ultimate Edition.
With that very interesting cover. With about a zillion players just randomly on the front.
I like it. I'm not going to buy it.
I like it just because finally got Newcastle represented.
I don't like it anymore.
No, I bet you don't.
I like how they said, it's a gameplay trailer. No, it wasn't.
No, that was not a game.
It was not a gameplay trailer.
Of course it was.
It was an in-engine trailer. Actually, was it even that? I don't know.
I can imagine it being in-engine at least.
Just a flashy CG trailer. Or players doing things they never do in real life. Well, yeah. There you go. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Alan turns up in his pyjamas, rather fetching green, emblazoned with his initials as well.
Yeah, I like that. Bit of class.
And he's revealed to be the cover star. What do you think of the? Yeah, it's not really a surprise. What do you think to the cover photo?
Boring. Don't like it.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought, that is a bit dull. But actually, I've grown to like it. I like that they've just gone with an in-action shot.
I think it's better than like all the Mbappe stuff. It's just him just posing, really.
Yeah, I don't like the poses or what you used to get where there's like montages of people running towards the camera and that kind of thing, looking like they're screaming and that kind of thing. That always used to be on the covers of these sorts of games.
Oh yeah, loved it when Rooney was there doing it all the time.
Yeah, I kind of like that they just took a moment of action from a real football game. Like use that.
It's simple. It's nice.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's great. It's grown on me. But no mention of pro clubs in this presentation.
No, not in the presentation. Some stuff in the press release afterwards.
I'm glad because I did worry at the end of this.
What, they were going to scrap?
Yes.
What? They would never scrap clubs.
Well, it doesn't make them any money, does it?
No, but it's like, outside of Ultimate Team, it's one of their biggest played modes.
It don't feel like it with the way they treat it.
No, it doesn't, no. Which is a bit of a shame, so.
So what do we know about it?
What do we know? I've not actually got it up. I got the article from Video Game Chronicles, which literally just has one line, which basically just says, Pro Clubs mode will feature crossplay for the first time in franchise history too.
Might get a cup smash, huh?
So
that's good.
We will have crossplay.
That is good.
There is.
I think Pro Clubs needs that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think this crossplay is going to be between Xbox Series X/S, PlayStation 5, and PC, which is probably the most worrying thing.
Can we switch PC off?
It won't be, will it, though?
No, but some games have allowed that, though, aren't they? You know, first person.
Well, I hope they do. I hope there's kind of like crossplay between consoles. An option. I think that would be better.
Do you know what? I'm really disappointed that PS4's not on that list. Just want to play the Moment Pirates again.
Well, hopefully they've upgraded.
I do miss those guys. Always fun playing them.
Lest we forget.
Yep.
I will say though, I was watching a video from a Pro Clubs YouTuber that I follow, and apparently there's been quite a few more stuff revealed for. Well, it's not called Pro Clubs anymore. It's called clubs now. They've dropped the pro part of it.
Amateur clubs.
Yeah, just clubs. Well, and Bolter, they're still linked. But there was some screenshots and videos that have apparently already leaked on it that have come out.
What, just clubs?
Yeah, so like the menus and stuff, and like some information as well.
Do the menus look identical to the previous games? Or have they finally changed it to look different?
There'll just be another colour.
Pretty identical.
What's wrong with them?
It seems a little cleaner. Like the text they use is a little cleaner, so that's kind of nice. But other than that, I think the biggest thing that they were talking about that seems to be revealed is there is no Division 10 to Division 1 anymore.
What?
So what is it then?
So there's like, I think they've incorporated like how it works in Ultimate Team, where you play games during the week and then there's like, and you have to qualify for like playoffs on the weekend, and that's how you like get up into divisions.
Give over.
That's how you go up through divisions. Although it starts from Division 5 and there's just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's not as many, so I think more people have been incorporated in each division, but it's like, you have to like qualify to try and get promoted now.
I think it's going to get to the point where I don't really care about promotion or anything like that. It's just to play the game.
In a way, it could be good, because obviously if we start in a lower division from like 1 week to another, we can just slap some people up and edge our way into it.
Well, I said we play as much as we can on like
maybe
like on a Thursday. If we somehow get qualified on the weekend, then we can play on the Sunday or the Saturday. It'd be easier to get to Division 1, maybe.
I think you've been optimistic.
Well, I've always been the most optimistic out of the groups. Oh, there's also a rumour as well of a feature of being able to rejoin games when you get liked out.
Oh,
I hope so.
That'll be perfect
that
for
could be useful.
me and you, Matt.
That'd be great. That'd be great for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, it's business as usual for you. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that they usually have more proper trailers on each individual game mode as we get closer to release. I think around Gamescom, I want to say. They usually have it, so we'll see. I just want more customization stuff as well. Like, a lot of customization stuff went into Bolter. I don't know why they can't move that over to Pro Clubs.
Yeah. I mean,
actually, there's one thing that I questioned. What's this going to mean for the Nintendo Switch version? How can it be a legacy edition if it's the only edition that it's ever had?
Yeah, but it'll be the same engine and all that. It'll be the same stuff. Just a name change. That's it.
What do you think they do with Switch?
I don't know even how many people play on Switch. Do they just scrap it? Is it even worth them doing? Until the Nintendo Switch Pro comes out. Rumoured to be next year, apparently. They've been rumouring that for the last 3 years. So.
Well, that's what the OLED should have been, but they chickened out of that.
But yeah, that's something about EA Sports FC.
24.
Oh yeah, 24.
Got the 24.
Yeah, still the yearly thing. Because there were thoughts like, oh, is it going to be like a live service thing? Is it going to, like the other one that I forgot the complete name of?
Yeah,
eFootball.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Was it going to be something like that?
EA Football Club.
They'd be leaving too much money on the table because we're just going to pay 40 quid or 50 quid every year for it anyway. So
it's the thing. People are still going to pay it, aren't they? So
it's annoying though, isn't it? Like they could easily do it and then just be like, all right, every update we'll charge like 15, 20 quid, and I would say that's reasonable.
Yeah, but they don't care about reasonable.
Well,
they're going to make.
They care about delivering your. Yeah. They will full whack every year.
If they did it that way, then they won't be able to keep gouging people for Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Fair enough.
They just hit that reset button. Pew, every year. Poor form. Anyway, that's that. Anything else?
Should we talk about some classic video games that could be going well?
Yeah, this is something very important, actually, isn't it? This is genuinely quite important.
No, it is, isn't it? So there was a study that was conducted by two groups, I believe it was between the Video Game History Foundation and the Software Preservation Network. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
And according to this study, it is claimed that 87% of classic video games that have been released in the United States are critically endangered.
Yeah, and inaccessible.
They
gave a few examples, didn't they?
Yeah, so I think one example they gave was the Commodore 64 games that were tested. Only 4.5% of them were still purchasable on a modern digital storefront.
That for me is quite sad because I used to have a Commodore 64 and I loved it. And to hear that only 4.5% of games that were on it are now available I just find astonishing.
I imagine there's ROMs from all though still, so you could pick them up potentially if you wanted to go down that route. But I can understand why it's that.
Well, that's kind of going against the point.
Well, that's a
lot.
It's about preserving the authentic
Some things
ones.
don't need preserving. Some things just need to be killed.
Nathan,
stop. No, Nate's got a silly head on. Right.
I think the other sample they used as well was from the Game Boy family.
Yeah, what about this one?
Only 5.8% purchasable.
Come on, what you got to say about that one?
Shocking.
Well, pending Nintendo to bring it all out on the next iteration of Nintendo Switch Online.
None of this was helped obviously by this shutting down the Wii U and the 3DS stores either. That knackered it all up as well. But there was a quote in the study as well, which said this. Imagine if the only way to watch Titanic was to find a used VHS tape and maintain your own vintage equipment so that you could still watch it. And what if no library, not even the Library of Congress, could do any better? They could keep and digitize that VHS of Titanic, but you'd have to go all the way there to watch it. It sounds crazy, but that's the reality we're living with video games. A $180 billion industry, while the games and their history disappear. It's a good point.
It is a good point, but I think that's an old-fashioned way of viewing this. Because obviously, let's just say you can get Titanic on video, but it's also been digitized so you can download it online somewhere.
Yeah, but that's the point.
It'll always be on the internet.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's not happening with video games.
Right, let me just do a search for Commodore 64.
Right, we're talking about authentic ways.
I understand a legitimate way of of doing it. Yeah.
I can't believe you're arguing at this point. I'm genuinely.
I know. I thought he'd be the one that'd be on your side. I'm not the one that's fighting on like digital stuff.
Yeah. I do agree that there should be some archive of it, obviously, so it's there for us to get hold of if we want it. But everything can't be available.
No, but the point is, right, when you look at things like films, books, music, everything else is getting digitized and being kept as a record throughout human history. That's not happening with video games. That's the point. And 87% of video games aren't getting that treatment, which is a staggering number, you've got to admit. You can legitimately go and get all these other things, but you can't when it comes to video games, even though it's the biggest entertainment industry in the world. So it's alarming.
I just think it's different. I don't think it's comparable.
How is it not comparable though? Because if you use something like music as like an example, you can listen to stuff that's been like kept preserved from like 50 years ago, but stuff like, so like at the moment, like I wanted to play, I don't know, try and think of some obscure like Star Wars on Nintendo. I would have to have like the original Nintendo. I'd have to have like obviously TVs that are set up for that kind of stuff. And I mean legitimately to be able to do this. Whereas like you compare it to music, I can just get like that track from iTunes or something. And it's there ready for me. Like it's not easily accessible when it comes to video games. And I think this is something that needs to be really looked into to be able to sort of preserve the history of the industry, really.
I think the only way we're going to get to that point is if eventually we get to a model the same as when iTunes first became a thing, in every song being 99p, for example, and everybody signs up for it. It'd be Nintendo, Sega, Atari, PlayStation, Microsoft, all these different companies having to come together and accept, right, we're going to have one platform that we keep everything on, Commodore as well, Sinclair, all these companies would need to come together and do that. Or they individually say, right, we're going to upload the archive onto this thing that you can use. I understand the need for preservation, but I'd expect that the companies that built these games have the files of them. So if they wanted to put them out there, they could.
But they don't. Why does every other publisher or whatever in other mediums allow it, but games don't? Then maybe it's just a change in the industry that needs to happen.
Maybe it is, yeah.
Possibly.
Maybe we need a Spotify or Netflix style. A bit like what, well, to lesser extent, Xbox is trying to build with Game Pass. Because obviously they remove games from Game Pass, but maybe we need something like that. But that just hosts all the games and it's a service. So you can access these things.
No, I think for Nathan's point there at least, I think Microsoft do a much better job of doing that through Game Pass. Obviously, you've got access to a number of original Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, Xbox One games. I do think that's something that Sony and Nintendo lag quite far behind. Yes, Nintendo especially. I think PlayStation is slowly starting to do it.
Console you get.
But I think as well, I think it seems as though I think I read somewhere. I think Nintendo seemed to be smiling up a little bit about it in like keeping like digital purchases and stuff under one account now, using this new Nintendo account that they've got. Like they're gonna try and keep everything under this kind of platform. So like when the next console does come out, you can just you just whack your account on there, and then hopefully once they introduce, the new virtual console, whatever it would be on that console, it would at least remember so that I've purchased these, I still get to keep the copy of it when they do eventually drip feed them. Yeah. I think it's just more about getting more publishers to start really working on getting these like older titles to be easily accessible. But again, like maybe Nathan says, maybe something outside of the big three. Other companies could maybe come together and make some sort of, arcades, Netflix or something, have all the titles to be able to be purchasable or put on a free live service. Not free live service. Subscription service, probably. But to be able to access to play these, older games and even like arcade games, I think don't get preserved that well either. Like, you think of something like, Point Blank or like Time Crisis, where can I play that outside of an old arcade?
The other way these games are living on through things like emulation. And that shouldn't be the case.
I think that's it. I think, like, obviously ROMs and stuff are doing the work that publishers should really be doing. Like, we do have that preservation there, but it's not
legitimate.
It's not, it's not what we should be doing. It's really what those that are in charge should be doing.
But who's to do it, though? That's the thing. Like Commodore that closed down decades ago.
It could license it off to someone.
Is it? Yeah, it could probably license it off, but they came out with the Commodore 64 Mini a few years ago, didn't they? And they had about 60 so of the most popular games on there. But yeah, who's going to do it? Because if there's all these obscure games that weren't very well, they didn't sell well, let's say, who's going to take the time and do that and go through each individual game?
But if they didn't sell well and they're not expected to get money, it could still be made into a legitimate digital archive that people could play. Why couldn't that happen? If they're not going to sell it, because if they're going to do it legitimately, I don't mind if they're going to ask us to pay for it. They're going, you want this game, pay for it. I think people would legitimately do that. If they're interested in the game, they'll buy it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the work that would go into building something like that. If we wanted to archive every single game on the Commodore 64 as the example, in tracking down who produced that game.
I'm sure they'll find a way.
Or
it's happened with every other medium, so I'm sure it'll happen with this.
Or is it just going to be a blanket thing to say, right, we're buying the name rights to Commodore. Any software built within that company's era, we'll take it all, put it on this platform, and then if whoever has the rights doesn't want us to do it, then they reach out to us, and then we'll converse at that point and flip it round.
Possibly. But 87% is inexcusable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is bad. Obviously, we want to keep things around if we can. But on the flip side, not everything's meant to last forever. And the cream rises to the top.
No, it's just recency bias, though, isn't it? It's just modern things still exist, and history's been consigned to remain as history.
It's not necessarily. Obviously, there's a core of people that do have a lot of love for the retro gaming scene's absolutely massive.
But I think if more people had access to it, more people would like it. I think there's a lot of people who don't even know these things exist because they've never seen them.
Yeah, could be.
But anyway.
Same could be said for old music and old films.
Yeah, but they are accessible.
Then we might have to just agree to disagree on this.
But they are accessible.
We seem to be reaching an impasse.
Not everything's accessible, though.
No, but not everything has to be. But a lot more than 87%. Or should I say there's 13% that's accessible.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than that is accessible in the other mediums. That's the point. Even 50% would just be a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in an ideal world, obviously, it would be fantastic to have access to 100% of it, and that'd be great, but unfortunately, it's not the case.
More should be done, though. I think more needs to be done.
Yeah.
And even though this was focused on the US, I think this is a problem that's consistent worldwide.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because there was a hell of a lot of UK publishers back in the late 70s through the 80s, excuse me, that made a lot of games for like the microcomputers, like the Amstrads, Commodore, Sinclair, ZX Spectrum, that people never get to play. I do think it's upsetting. I do agree with you on that level, but it's just an ideal that we'll never realise.
With that attitude, we won't. We need to change those attitudes. That's what we're here to do.
You know what? Something else just adds this little conversation, a bit of a sort of a side topic to it. There's this company that's called NoClip. You might have heard of them. They do like video game documentaries.
I know what you're going to mention here.
They got like massive boxes of like really old like video game trailers and like pre-release stuff that only like
presentations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. Like they managed to get all these boxes. They saved them. Like they were gonna get like all thrown out in like tips and stuff, and they saved them. And they're doing a method now to like digitize them and put them on their YouTube channel, so you can see all like there's stuff like I forgot where it's from. It was Nintendo. There's like a look on like what Zelda would look like on GameCube. Do you know it was like Ocarina of Time, but like basically better 3D models and stuff like, oh, this is what GameCube can do and stuff. And they've got a lot of like interviews and stuff as well from like years ago that they're like digitizing. And it's like, it's something similar to that. I think we need to do a better job of being able to preserve the history of gaming. And I mean, I can see from Nathan's point of view, it's like, who's going to put the work in? Like, who's going to do it then? Like, who assigns that? Like, who should really be in charge of that kind of stuff? But
yeah,
I do think.
But I bet they said that the same when they started doing this with music and books and everything. It all starts somewhere.
No, they probably did. And to be fair, I'm more on your side. That I think more should be done. And like I said, I think Microsoft are a lot better, it seems to be doing this. Okay, not the entire game library of original Xbox is there. But most of the important tiles, I suppose, or at least the most popular tiles are there, which is great. And I just think publishers could do a lot better in that kind of aspect. Look at Ubisoft, they've got their own storefront. Why can't they start putting some of their older stuff? Which maybe they do. I can't be too sure, You look at Steam as well. Steam has a huge library of games going back years for PC and stuff. So I think more really needs to be done. But how that sort of conversation starts, I'm not too sure.
So we heard about the PS5 access controller, codenamed Project Leonardo, a few months ago. And this was the controller to help people with certain difficulties and make gaming more accessible for them. So it had a load of mappable buttons that you could use. You could change the placement of the buttons, and it was like these two spheroid things that you could use. Instead, it had a big, massive analog stick on it. So we've finally got a global release date, which is the 6th of December. And we also have a price, which, to be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised about. So it's going to cost $79.99, which it seems fairly steep. But if you take into account a normal PS5 controller, right now on Amazon, it's $56.99. It's not too much of a jump for the extra technology you get. Don't think. Mark's sceptical.
As always.
Yeah, I'm sceptical about that. I just have it same price, but it is.
There's more to it. There's more cost to it, I think, because it's two different things rather than just the one.
Yeah, I guess so. Because you're not going to sell as many, are you?
I think that's what you could think about. You're not going to make as much of these, so. But I mean, I really thought it would have been around like the £100 mark, honestly. So.
Oof. God, that would have been a problem if it had been priced that.
Yeah.
I generally thought it would have been.
I might buy it. I mean, it looks like it'd be good for fighting games and stuff, to be honest. With all the individual buttons.
Well, you need all the help you can get, so.
I do, yeah. Use it to play FIFA.
Yeah.
EA Sports FC, come on.
Map.
Yeah, come on.
I told you before.
I've said it again. EA Sports FC.
To be fair, as long as you don't play me on Blade Soul Calibur or...
Fair enough. But yeah, that's on its way.
Just some good news. Just some more good news then.
I was about to say, are you saying the access control is not good news?
No.
Go on then, give me more.
That is good news. So, do you remember the HBO series, The Last of Us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's received 24 Emmy nominations.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's including 9 acting nominations.
9 acting?
9, yes.
What?
Pretty much every major player in it.
Wait, I could think of like lead actor and lead actress. What?
Yeah, and then
supporting ones?
They've got guest actor and guest actress as well.
Guest ones? Ooh.
Yeah. So of course you've got lead actress Bella Ramsey as Ellie, lead actor Pedro Pascal as Joel. But then you've got outstanding guest actresses in a drama series. You've got Melanie Linsky, who played Kathleen. You've got Storm Reed, who played Ryla. And Anna Torv, who played Tess. Okay. And then you've also got outstanding guest actor in drama series. And you've got Murray Bartlett as Frank. Nick Offerman as Bill. Lamar Johnson as Henry. And Kevon Montreal Woodard as Sam. All of them got acting nominations.
No love for Troy Baker there.
No, not this. Well, David, the guy who played David, didn't either. So
yeah, I was shocked by it, actually. I thought he did quite well as David.
It seems like everyone else got a nomination, so poor them, I guess.
I mean, I could definitely see it for like obviously Bill and Frank, like they had to get nominated.
Well, it's got it's nominated for other ones as well. So it's outstanding drama series, outstanding casting for a drama series. I mean, I'm not surprised considering all the acting nominations it's just had. Outstanding special visual effects in a season or movie. Outstanding main title design. And then basically the Emmys are quite odd because they award like ones to individual episodes of things. So all the others were like nominations for various things in individual episodes, and most of which was geared towards long time, that episode, which is the Bill and Frank episode.
It's episode 3.
3, yeah. I think there's quite a bit of love for the second episode as well, which is Infected.
Well, I could see it. Yeah, I could see it.
But there you go, 24 nominations, 9 acting, and it's the first major nominations for live action video game adaptation. So
the first and probably the most.
Best. Yes, probably. But no.
Actually, I think there's only one other show that got more. I think it was, is it Succession?
Succession, yeah.
Yeah, I think that got 26.
Yeah, the big 3 was Succession, Last of Us, and The White Lotus, I think it was.
Okay.
I've never seen the other 2, but this must be really good. But no, they've done really well. Really, really well.
Wait,
I
find that nomination strange when you said was it nomination for best main title.
Best main title design. So I think that's the the intro credits design thing. I think that's what that is.
I feel like this got made because of Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
I'm like, I honestly can't think of any other like
it's
intro
a good
titles that's is iconic.
Maybe. But
unless Smallville, but that's just because it's a song.
Then I never watched it.
It is a pretty good song.
It is a good song. It fits Smallville.
I just want to see it get some wins.
Takes them all 24.
I mean,
Pedro's there just piled and.
I mean, we never actually got around to speaking about this show, did we? It was amazing. We were intending on doing our own separate episode, but we just never got around to it.
Well, it's because somebody didn't watch it all.
Yeah, I don't know how, but
yeah, not sure how.
But it was
it's
incredible.
The Super Bowl. I blame the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it put you about a bit, didn't it?
It did.
Amazing. Looking forward to season 2 in about 5 years, something like that.
Whatever happens, thanks to these strikes now.
Well, yeah.
It'll give me time to watch it at least, so that's good.
Yeah. But no, really good.
I'll get through the backlog. There we go.
Well then, Matt, more happy news.
Well, don't know about happy news, but certainly not good for a certain game anyway that has been classed the new worst game of 2023.
The worst game of 2023?
Yes, something
really?
somehow.
There's something even worse.
Even worse than.
And I've not heard about this.
Whatever it is,
maybe I
probably.
have.
Well, you might have, and it's actually funnily on topic with the previous news that we spoke about. Actually.
Is it? What was it called? Something Hope. Has it got Hope in the title? So
yes.
I remember vaguely recall this. Yes.
Remember this. So the game that we're talking about is a Switch exclusive that came out recently. It's called Last Hope.
That's it. Yes.
And if you've ever seen anything of it, it is literally almost like a worst copy of The Last of Us.
Yeah, I remember seeing the artwork. It's trying to be a carbon copy of it.
Yeah. So Digital Foundation did a whole video on this, and apparently the video actually lasts longer than playing the game or completing it. So what can I say about it? Basically, you like the main characters look like, I don't know, $5 rip-off store versions of Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. And apparently the game struggles to keep a steady 5 frames per second, probably. No, more about 30. But playing it, apparently, it all happened. Basically, the whole game is in this like street kind of block that's like in a U. It's really short. You've got a stamina meter that doesn't recharge, so whenever you run or swing your bat, you run out of stamina, basically. So you have to be careful of that. At one point, there's a police car in the game that you have to unlock. But while you're doing the unlocking, the zombies are still hitting you. So once you finish the unlock game, you come out to a "you dead" screen. Not you died, but you dead.
You did.
And apparently as well, like, there's not much ammo around. Apparently, you can only kill around 65 zombies with the total amount of ammo that you've got. So you have to be, like, really careful about it as well. Also as well, apparently there's a door that you need to open, and you have to press the E key on Switch.
The E key?
The E key. What is this? Yeah, it looks absolutely terrible.
Press E to pay respects.
It's potentially worse. Something else as well, though, that I thought was hilarious. These developers have made another game previously, like a World War II game, and I will kid you not, this is the title of that video game. Right? Are you ready? Okay, yeah. Don't say anything. Spotify. Right, so it's called World War Battle Heroes Field Army Call of Prison Duty Simulator.
Wow.
just rolls off the top.
All the COD names in.
You couldn't have fit anything else. What you got Call of Duty in there. There's Battlefield in there. What else? Something with prison and army. Like, what is going on? And I've seen a video of it as well. Someone's doing a video of playing it, and it looks atrocious. Like, I don't know how games like these get made.
This developer, Naughty Frog.
Naughty Frog.
Oh dear. Madness.
So I've got one question. What are your thoughts on game preservation now? Shall we kill it with fire?
Well, I mean,
good point.
Sounds like
I get your point that some things just need to die.
Some things, yeah. And you thought
I want to buy it.
Gone was the worst.
Yeah.
It's $8.99. I might buy it.
No, it's gonna be the worst £9 you've ever spent. Please don't.
There must be some legal. There must be some legal thing going on here. Surely Naughty Dog are going to do something about it.
Well, you think so? Because there's that other game as well that's getting a lot of hype on Steam that, like, did come out but then got forced off the platform by Steam or something because it weren't ready. I remember it was getting a lot of hype for it. They look like a rip-off of The Last of Us as well. Even down to the same font. So, I don't know. there you go. You know, some good competition there for Gollum.
That's just what we needed.
It's astounding. I love it.
And I guess that's it for the news. Shall we move on to what we currently play?
Yeah, why not?
Matt, do you want to kick us off?
Well, seeing as I'm the only one that's ready for it.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Cool. Right, so I've got 2 games to talk about. One that's going to be very obvious, and one that I went back to pretty briefly after this one. But I suppose my big one that I've played and can now say that I've completed has been The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So I finally got through it after what feels like eons playing this game. What can I say about this game? Oh god.
Is it good?
Is it good? But is it good?
Yeah, is it good?
I think at this moment, I think it might have knocked Resident Evil 4 off as my game of the year for this year.
Well, that's not difficult, is it? So.
Well, it is for me. Thank you. Being the Resident Evil fan, you swine. No, honestly, I think for what they've done with this game to be able to expand what they kind of built with Breath of the Wild 5 years ago, and to just sort of keep that like amount of freedom that it gives to players, but even just add more to it, with like in terms of like all the creations that you can create in this game, the ways that you can tackle quests and stuff, I'm not gonna say having proper dungeons again. There is I'll say there's probably a couple sort of traditional Zelda dungeons in terms of like having to traverse through doing puzzles and whatnot. I think the boss fights, if I can put my teeth back in, are like a huge upgrade over what we had in Breath of the Wild as well. I think there've been some of the more crave boss fights as well. I really enjoyed them, like design wise as well. I think they're all very unique and interesting. I mean, I don't know how they've managed to fit so much game into such a small cartridge. Honestly, it's like they're just magicians over at Nintendo. It's just ridiculous. And I think that there's a couple of emotional moments in there as well. I do really like the story in this one. I like how you kind of you go through the story, but then there's a certain quest that you do that you start sort of learning kind of the backstory of everything that's happened as well through sort of like flashbacks as well. And they're like the flashbacks make sense as well on who sort of it's focused on. Some of the twists as well, I was generally shocked on them. A couple, especially to certain characters. What sort of they go through is I didn't see it coming really. Like it gets hinted at and I'm just like, nah, it's not that won't happen. And then it does happen. You're just like, what? Okay, fair enough. I think the final boss fight as well. I think the whole build up to like the last quest of finding Ganondorf and having to fight him was impressive to me. Very, very difficult, even just trying to get to him, because you almost end up doing this kind of like you traverse through underneath Hyrule Castle, and it's just this like basically this journey of just having to fight through enemies and enemies and whatnot, and while also like trying to fight the gloom as well. So like the gloom in this game is essentially kind of you step in it and you start sort of I won't say losing hearts, but you start losing how would you call it? Sort of they kind of block hearts in a way. So you lose them, but then you can't regain them back unless you like out in Hyrule, or if you're in the depths, you need to be under like a light route to sort of gain them back. And that was quite difficult having to traverse going through that, because like every enemy hit as well, I was getting hearts like blocked and stuff, so I couldn't like recover them at all. So like once I do get sort of towards the end of Ganon and finally meet him, I've got about like a third of my hearts left, like that I've got to like hold on to try and fight this guy. And he's definitely probably the most difficult boss fight in the game for sure. Like you have to start learning patterns, and he'll start switching things sort of halfway through, where you think you learn a pattern and then he like it changes, and you've got to sort of almost like relearn a new pattern then. So I like how it kind of keeps you on your toes. And then like the final part, even after Ganondorf, is just absolute over the top. I would have said like an anime-esque fight, if I'm honest. If
I'm
you
not
play
going
it
to
and
ask
you
what
get
that
to it,
means.
but you'll be fine. I'm trying to be vague and not give too much away, because I know Nathan has it, and well, he might eventually get to it. Which at that point I'll have to like.
He might eventually get to it.
Yeah,
know,
well, I was
sounds
gonna
like a diss
say,
to me,
Matt,
though.
I mean, I'll accept it. I'll need help.
Yeah.
So taking the Ganon fight into isolation, if you had all your hearts, is it easier or harder than Breath of the Wild, do you think?
What, in terms of like the final fight, or
Is that the one where you needed help? So you're trying to work out
Trying to gauge
if you
it.
could do it yourself.
Is he? That's an interesting question.
So I'll help you, Dave.
Cheers, Mark.
Mark, oh yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'm trying to remember the Calamity Ganon fight, because I think when I played it for you, I was actually it was quite easy for me because I knew what I was doing at that point.
Not all the graph that I put in before to get the hearts, get the Master Sword.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Actually, I'll give you a little hint with the Master Sword as well, because in Breath of the Wild, and try not to spoil us too much. In Breath of the Wild, to get the Master Sword, you have to get an X amount of hearts to be able to pull it out. Switch that around when you're playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's not hearts that you need this time around; it's stamina.
Oh, right, okay.
So try and.
I'm pumping everything into stamina then.
So when you said opposite of hearts, I thought you meant you're going to lose hearts.
Yeah, no, you got to lose hearts. No, you have to get
die,
an X amount of hearts to actually pull the Master Sword out in Breath of the Wild. Otherwise, you will. Well, you won't die, but like you'll get exhausted basically.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's actually stamina that you need. Which is good actually. I like that they switch it around. It's not predictable on what you think you need. Plus, I think you actually do need the Master Sword. It becomes like a main quest in this one as well. Whereas like Breath of the Wild, I think it was like you didn't necessarily need it. It's like a side thing that you could get. But in this one, it's tied to the story that you need the Master Sword. So I think difficulty wise, I'd probably say Ganondorf's probably a little bit more difficult. Just because of it switches around his like attack pattern sort of halfway through. Whereas like, I think Calamity, I want to say stayed pretty much most the same. I think he also changes once half of his life goes down. But there's more stages to Ganondorf. I will say you do get like these Zonai devices. You get like portable cooking pots. They can use, it's like a one-time use only, so you can cook like meals and stuff quickly. And after the first time I got defeated by Ganondorf, I was like, right, I'm gonna get all my hearts back before I fight him, because I know this is gonna be difficult. And I think getting more of my hearts back made it easier. But I did like do most of the shrines as well. I didn't do all the shrines. I've not done all of them as of yet, but I've got about 26 hearts, so that's quite a lot.
Wow, that's more than my 3. So.
Yeah, the like 3 or 4 that you start off with is a bit lame compared to once you get to later in the game. But no, I've enjoyed my time with it. Absolutely loved the game. If I was to nitpick something out of Tears of the Kingdom, I think this is something that was aimed at Breath of the Wild as well, is that it does feel that there's like a bit of a lack of music to the game. Whereas like I feel like previous Zeldas, there was some sort of like music going on, whether you were in like Hyrule Field, whether you were in like a temple. There was always something like quite iconic when when you listen to sort of Zelda music. Whereas here, it really sort of tones that down. Like you get it when it's like you're in boss fights, and that kind of stuff. And like when you do get it there, then it's pretty good. I do enjoy the music. It does fit quite well with the boss fights and stuff. But outside of that, it's a bit quiet. And I've not even done everything in the game either. Like I did most of the depth. Like I've gone most of the light routes in there, and most of the like iconic armor sets as well. So like you can pick up armor sets from previous games through just going through the depths, going through like mines and stuff. I think I missed one light route, but there was like some other enemies in the game that I've not even fought properly. Like I only fought one Gleok, which is the three-headed dragon. I only fought like the fire one version of it, and there's like 2 of those in the game. There's like 2 ice ones, the 2 thunder ones, and then there's like 4 king Gleoks, which is like a three of the elementals combined into one dragon. I tried fighting one of those in the depth. You can find one, and it whooped my behind. So
it feels like that's the Tears of the Kingdom version of the Valkyries from God of War.
Probably, yeah. Like you get some decent stuff out of it. So I might go back to it, hopefully, and sort of have a go and see if I can sort of beat at least one. But no, this has just like been a joy to play for me. Just messing around and trying to create stuff. I still look at TikToks every now and then just to see what new things people make. And
they're hilarious, aren't they? Some of the things that people can do.
Yeah, like someone's like somehow recreate the Batmobile in Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know how, but it works. So, yeah, I love this game. I think it's going to be a really tough year for like once Game Awards come around, because there's still some like big hitters to come out, and I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, I think this is going to be the most stacked year in terms of like who could win Game of the Year. There's so many choices, and we've still got like Starfield, Spider-Man 2, whatever else. I can't think of it at this moment in time.
All the other things that's going to be coming.
All
out.
The other things, yeah.
October, November, December time.
So, EA Sports, no. So yeah, no, absolutely loved it. So I finished that, and then the only other game that I quickly moved on to, because I wanted to sort of get back into, I was still in the mood for a bit of Hyrule. So I went back to Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
I don't know why, but I just find that a funny name.
What, Hyrule Warriors?
I think Calamity is just a funny name.
Oh, Calamity.
It's just
just a funny word.
Yeah, when you say Calamity, it's just like, oh, he's had a bit of a calamity. He's fallen over. He's tripped over. Bit of a calamity.
It's like a little minor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I got this ages ago. I mean, if you don't know what it is, it's if you've ever played like Dynasty Warriors, it's basically that, but in Hyrule form. But they made like a whole like prequel story with this. So like this is like meant to be like a prequel to Breath of the Wild that was set like 100 years prior. You see it in like cutscenes every so often. In Breath of the Wild, sort of what happened, but you get to actually play in this one. So just going through this, really. Done a couple of the main missions at the moment, just trying to get an alliance going on with the 4 champions in Hyrule. So I went over to Zora's domain, helped out, I think it's Minthna, who's like the Zora princess there, who becomes like the champion, who ends up piloting the one of the divine beast things, the elephant one. And I got to a mission where I got you to play in the divine beast as well. So I'm like just smashing through all these like enemy camps and just firing off ice blasts and all sorts. So that was quite fun. And I'm just going through some of the like other heroes at the moment, just getting them leveled up. Like I think I've got Link. He plays Link. He plays Zelda in this one, who uses the Sheikah tablet. So she's got all the like Breath of the Wild powers, so being able to use the remote bombs, the sort of ice. I forgot what it was called, cryonesis or something. I'm sure that's not the word at all. But you bring up like an ice cube, basically, you can use it for your attacks and stuff. She's also got like status as well, so she can freeze enemies in place as well. And then there's Impa as well, who's essentially just like this like Naruto ninja using jutsu clones everywhere. Quite fun actually. She's probably my favorite character at the moment. And I've also got unlocked Nymphna as well. So she has like her Zora spear and uses a lot of sort of war type attacks. So yeah, I'm gonna try and blast through that as quick as I can, get that going, and then move on to whatever else is in my backlog at some point. So right, well, that's what I've been playing. What about you, Mark?
Okay. So, last weekend was one of those rare occasions when I had absolutely nothing to do. I didn't need to go anywhere. I didn't need to see anyone. I had 2 full days of nothingness. So, right, this is perfect.
That sounds
so, yeah. So this is perfect time to play something big. So I decided to get into a big game from the gaming backlog from many, many moons ago. And I think you'll appreciate this one, Matt.
Oh.
I began playing Fallout New Vegas.
Whoa.
Wow,
that's blown my mind.
Ago.
Bloody hell. I've not touched that game in years.
Yeah. Now, I've not played Fallout game before. Well, I say that. We did dabble briefly on Fallout 76, didn't we? And then that was wildly catastrophic for Nathan and I. So that doesn't count as far as I'm concerned.
Probably not the best introduction.
Yeah. So brief plot synopsis from what I've gathered so far is you play a courier who has been tasked with transporting an item across the Mojave Desert to the city of New Vegas, which was formerly Las Vegas. And following an ambush, the item is stolen from you and you get shot by a mysterious bloke in a checkered suit. And somehow you are saved by a robot called Victor and are stitched together by a guy called Doc Mitchell, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And then you're sent on your merry way out to try and retrieve this stolen item, and there you go. You go out into the world. And these are my types of games. The RPGs, you go around an open world, you talk to people, you get drawn into various narratives and go through a series of quests. Now, I could go on about many other aspects of this game, but I'm going to tell you a little story now of a particular personal quest of mine. That so on Saturday I was playing it, and it was all, everything was fantastic. And then on Sunday I started doing this, and things went a bit weird and odd, and you'll see. So this is my quest to get the Remnant power armor.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I look at it, I was like, right, because this is what I like to do in RPGs. I like to build my character up pretty early on, as best as I can, and then I just go and wreck people throughout the game. That's what I like to do. So I went on the internet. What's New Vegas best armor setup? It's like, right, Remnant power armor. That's what came up. It's like, fantastic. Right, I shall go and get this Remnant power armor. So it told me to go to this place called Silver Peak Mine. Right. So I thought I'll go and get the helmet first. That's where I went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I walk through this mine, and I get to this open area, and I get swarmed by these things called cazadors. And they're So they're like these hornets, I think they are, something like that. Hornets, bees, kind of thing.
Mosquito things, yeah.
Flying, and basically they fly, and then they just sting you a crap. And they just repeatedly stung me. And it said, in the corner, it said, "You are feeling a bit woozy." That's literally the term it said. You are feeling a bit woozy. And
you will do.
Yeah, and then your health starts decreasing. Okay. And you need anti-venom. Guess who didn't have any anti-venom? So up there, of course I didn't have it, so I just died in typical fashion. And this happened about 4 times. Okay. And then I thought, right, so I tried shooting them, but my gun couldn't keep up. Because you've got that is it VAX? Is that what it's called?
Yes, yeah.
The pause time thing, yeah. So you can pinpoint on different body parts and things like that. But when you're doing that, when you shoot the gun, the enemies are still moving, so they're still attacking you.
Yeah, they still come towards you.
Yeah. So I couldn't shoot them all at the same time. So I resorted to getting a golf club, just walking in there and just wildly swinging it round, right? Hoping I'll just batter them up there. Okay. So I did that, and then I was successful after about 3 tries with that.
Oh, nice.
And then, eventually. And then you go up a slope. I had to bat a few more off, and then I finally found the helmet. Okay. And I picked it up. You were over encumbered, which is always the thing.
You don't want to, you don't want to see that. That's,
right.
Oh.
So there I am, just dumping random crap onto the floor, like rubbish pistols and stuff like that I didn't really need or use.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll put this helmet on for protection. I went, oh. And then it said, "You do not have power armor training." Like, what? What is this rubbish you just told me? I do not have power. What? So I thought, fine. So I thought, fine. I've got to get out of this mine first. And then I jumped down over this ledge, making my way out, and suddenly this legendary Cazador just appears and attacks me.
Oh, right? Yeah, that's not going to go well.
And it stings me, but I managed to put it down. Right? So I've killed it. But
very nice.
But I'm taking damage now. Yeah. So I'm slowly sauntering my way to the exit of this mine, losing health and over encumbered. Actually, no, I wasn't over encumbered because I dumped the stuff. But I'm slowly losing health, making my way to the exit of this mine, right? Mm-hmm. I get outside. And I thought, right, my thought process is, I'll get outside, right? And then I'll fast travel to a place of being where I know there's a doctor. Okay? So I get outside, and it says, "You cannot fast travel with your losing health." So I'm outside, in the middle of nowhere, because this place was in the middle of nowhere, and I'm just walking down the road, just losing health. I just die, right? So I've got to reload again in the mine before I've even collected the helmet. I've got to go through the gubbins of picking up the helmet, dumping the stuff, and then I've got to. I thought, right, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother fighting the Cazador. I'm just going to leg it past it. So I did. I managed to get round it, got the helmet, fine. Okay, step 1 done. Excellent. But then this I found it really off-putting when it mentioned this power armor training. So I'm like, do I have to go and get this now? It's like, fine, I'll go this. Internet, how do you get power armor training on Fallout New Games? So it turns out I have to go and meet a bloke called Elder McNamara.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a dude who lives in a bunker. Yeah. And he's the head of the Brotherhood of Steel. And it turns out he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal of Spider-Man fame.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Turns out. So yeah, as I say, he lives in a bunker, and I was reading a bit of a guide about how you achieve. How do I start this off? It's like, in order to get to the bunker, your best option is to be friends with someone called Veronica, who was part of the bunker.
Yes.
Now, thankfully, I'd already met Veronica, so I had her as cabin. So I was like, right, you come with me. We're going to this bunker. Help me out. Right. So I told her to come with, and after Veronica did some convincing to these people in this place, the elder bloke says, "Okay, help me, and I'll help you." Right. So I thought, fine, I'll do your little job, and then just give you what I want.
Yeah.
I says, right, I want you to go out and find 3 missing patrols of my people that are out there. It turns out during my actual playthrough, I'd actually already come across one. I just didn't realise it.
Yeah, sometimes I think I did that a couple of times.
So I thought, great, that's one less thing to do. And I got to the markers, and I have to go down into one of these markers, and I have to go down into this open cast mine kind of place. And at the bottom, I am greeted by centaurs, which are these weird blob creature
they're like
things on legs.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah, slug with human heads and torsos with big tongues, and they're a bit odd. It's like something you see out of Resident Evil or something. Very odd. But I managed to kill them, and I find these skeletons in the bottom of this pit thing, right? And I've got to collect holotapes from them.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I've got to do. So I collect this holotape from this thing. I thought, right, I'll leave. And then the last one is far north of the map. And I go there, and I'm walking towards it, and I come across this bloke on a road. And he stops me, and he tells me that just up the road, artillery fire is bombarding this town. But I need to get in there, because that's where my last thing is. And he says, right, for a few caps, I'll tell you how to get around it. And he gives me some advice about sticking to the northwest side or something like that. Didn't work. So I just legged it straight in there. I'm getting bombarded by this artillery fire because there's an air force base near it, and that's where the fire's coming from. And I managed to survive it just about, and then I leg it back out. Right. So I thought, right, I've done the job. Right, I'll return back to Spider-Man. So I went back to him, gave him his holotapes, told him that his patrols were dead. Right, here's your holotapes. Give me my training, please. And I went, ooh, well, you did that so well. Perhaps you could help me with something else. And this thing with the game.
This is classic, classic RPG.
So I thought, for crying out loud, now what? So, right, I've got 3 scouts out there. I want you to go find them, get their reports from them, and then return that info back to me. It's like, all right, off I trudge yet again. So I go out into the wilderness to find these Muppets, and they couldn't be in normal places, could they? They're located on these like rocky outcrops and boulders on the tops of hills and things like that. So I have to go traipsing around these hills trying to find these people. Anyway, I found them, went back to Peter Parker, said, right, there you go, I've done my bit. Training now, please. No, there's something else you got to do. And he's like, our air filtration system in our bunker, it's a bit knackered. If only I knew someone who could get the parts we need to fix it. RPG 101, isn't it? So I thought, right, it's going to be muggins here, isn't it? So, because video games and everything has to be done in threes, because I've just gone to 3 scouts, 3 patrols I had to go for. Now, he wants me to go into 3 vaults, right, to retrieve these items. 3 vaults.
These vaults aren't short.
No. So first he wants me to go to. So first I went to Vault 22, right, and then this vault covers 4 floors. Okay, and thankfully I had the skill to fix the elevator, so I did.
Oh, good, yeah.
So I didn't have to prat about going up and down the stairs and all that, right? But in here, the plants, there's a big focus on plants in this one, and they come alive with like these green goblin things.
Yeah, I remember these. Yeah, talking about.
Yes, So eventually, I found these filter things he wanted, tucked away in a random room deep in the place, in the corner, in a locker, in a dark corner of a room. It's so difficult trying to locate anything indoors in this game. It really is.
It can be, yeah. You gotta. Do you know how to use your flashlight and your Pip-Boy?
No, I didn't know that was a thing. Flashlight, Pip-Boy, how?
Tell me. If I recall, I think the button they use to open the Pip-Boy, I think you just need to hold it and it'll. It doesn't do
circle
flash.
to open it. Not circle. I was playing Xbox.
Triangle.
The other one. B.
Yes. So if you hold it, it's not a flashlight forward. It's more like a flashlight around.
Okay.
It's not a traditional flashlight, but it's better than enough.
Well, yeah. I took to just whacking the brightness up of the game. Just caves, mines, indoors. They are dark. They really are. It's very easy to get lost. But anyway, so I managed to find these filter things after. So next I went off to Vault 11, right? And this was a confusing place. The stairs went up and down all over the place, and I didn't know where I was going. But this one was full of ghouls, which are basically just like zombies, basically. And they let out this hideous shriek sound.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually I come to a bit where there's water flooding the lower level, right? So I'm like, this thing's going to be underwater, isn't it? It just is, isn't it? This is what it's all leading to. I could tell. So I dived down. I had a look around some stuff that were there. Sure enough, I found this thing I was after. So I turned round and then started panicking as I noticed my oxygen level going down, and I kept swimming into walls by accident. So but I found my way back out. So right, okay, done that. Made my way back up through the labyrinth, back to the surface. Okay, right. I've got one more vault to go to. Vault 3. Okay. So I fight my way through a bunch of fiends. I don't know how to describe the fiends. They seem a bit like cannibals, but I don't know if they are cannibals. They're very weird. But anyway, they're not very nice.
No.
But I'm outside this vault and I just wreck all these fiends that are outside it. It's quite funny actually. And then I just walk into this is just a control panel to get into this vault. And it turns out this vault is held by the fiends. Like they're living in there.
Ah.
So I walk through the door, and then a woman fiend at the start is just like, "What are you doing here? What's your business?" So I because I've got good talky skill, I managed to convince her that I'm here to meet the head honcho, who's in there somewhere. So I go in there, and little did she know of the massacre I've just committed to her people outside. Well, but now I have free reign of this vault, so it's great. So I walk round through to the back and all that, and I meet this head honcho bloke who I didn't have any interest of actually meeting. I didn't care. I just wanted these things to get out. But I went and had a chat with him anyway. And for some reason, he seemed to think I was some sort of drug dealer. Don't know why. He was wanting drugs from me for some reason. So I just like smiled and nodded and played the part, saying, "Yeah, I'll go get your drugs." And then I just looked in his locker in his room and just picked up the things I need and just left. So I was done with that. It's like, right, back to this dude. I've got all your things now. I'll sort you out. Oh, just one more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah, you can't. I said, right, can I become a member of the Brotherhood? He seems to be going that way. I've done enough stuff for him, surely. Says, you can't become a member of the Brotherhood unless you commit one heroic act for us. It's like, excuse me? What about all the stuff I've just done? Was that not all heroic enough for you? Like, I've just been into 3 vaults with these things that are trying to kill me. That's not heroic to save all your lives. But anyway. So then he sends me to a place called Black Mountain. So he says, right, go and install this transmitter on this radio tower thing. Like, fine. I go, I turn up, and I'm met by these things called the Nightkin, which are like big blue brutes kind of things. And they've got stealth, so they can turn invisible. Right? And so a couple of them just start charging at me with big, massive hammers. But I managed to put them down. I'm like, great, okay. I walk a bit further, and there's a fenced-off area where this radio building and transmitter thing is. I walk in, and I notice there's one of these Nightkins on the radio tower with a rocket launcher. And I turn and look at him. He just fires one directly at me, blows me to smithereens. I'm done. Right? I'm dead. Right. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, this sounds like New Vegas.
Yeah. So I'm like, fine. I reload. I go. Since I know he's there, I managed to pop him off from a distance. And then there's a random little interlude with one of these Nightkin, who I can't remember the name. Is it Tabitha? But they're dressed up like an old lady who, and she's a bit, she's a bit screwed in the head. She's a bit odd.
Yeah, a little bit she is.
Yeah. And they wanted me to fix their robot, which I managed to do. I fixed the robot, and then they just walked off. I'm like, fine. I've done your little bit as well. But I seem to be helping all the people I don't want to help, but fine. That convinced them not to attack me. So, did my thing, went into the building, planted the transmitter, went back to the dude in the bunker. It said, I was preparing to rage at this point. Like, give me the thing I want. And thankfully he did. He said, there, right, I'm going to give you, they gave me some, like, average power armor. But importantly, they gave me the power armor training. Like, yes, now I can go and get the suit, because it was separated, because you could get the helmet and the suit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I've got to go. Little did I know what was about to happen. So.
Oh God, yeah.
So
I think I know where this is going.
Yes. So I have to get it. It's like internet. Where do I find Remnant Power Armor suit? They said, right, I have to go to a place called the Cliffside Prospector Camp. Okay. Like, right, so you've got to walk along this path from this place. You see some of these gecko creatures, kill them, and then you've got to shimmy down a cliff, swim across the river, and go up a slope. Right. So I do that. I go and I cross the river, and suddenly death claws come barreling down the hill towards me. Now, as I say, I've not played Fallout before.
Yeah.
But even I know what death claws are. I've even heard of them. And I
Death
know
claws are the worst thing
they're
to
not
come
to be
across.
trifled with.
No.
And I have to say, there was probably about a dozen of them. We just got... So I started trying to cheese it by like...
Where's the nest?
Yeah, by like backing in and out of the water. And some of them were leaping towards me. And I thought, right, okay. So I put on this... I put on a YouTube guide of like how to get around this place. And this guy pulls out a minigun. And I'm like, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get this minigun from? And he just blitzes through. And I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to go find this minigun now. It's like, okay, I'll turn around and go away. So I go to this place called the Devil's Throat, and it's a massive crater, right?
Yeah.
And it's got radiated water at the bottom, and this is surrounded by centaurs, the blobby things I saw earlier, right? And there's a broken down truck in there, and in the back of the truck is this minigun. It's called the Avenger, right? Mm-hmm. So I went there, I killed the centaurs from distance, and I managed to collect the minigun. It was actually fairly easy, surprisingly, right? So, but I can't fast travel. I couldn't fast travel back to where the death claws were, so I have to go back to that camp, walk along, down the cliff, blah blah blah, jump across, go across the water and all that. So I did that, and I pull out the minigun and I start tearing through them all. And I was, as I said, I was cheesing it, going back in and out of the water and all that. Yeah. And they were jumping at me as well. Now, I think there was probably about 10 of them, death claws or things like that. So I started minigunning them, and I was running low on ammo, right? But I managed to just pop them off. But good. It suddenly went silent with death claws, bodies strewn all over the place. I thought, right, okay, I'll move on now. So I walked up the slope, and you have to go around the top of a cliff face, round to another part, right? And over there is another horde of death claws surrounding the armor that I needed. I thought, okay, how do I do this then? So I went back to the video that I was watching, see what he did. He gets to the part where he's clothed around the cliff face, and suddenly he pulls out a Fat Man launcher.
Oh, good old Fat Man.
I'm like, what's this now? What is this thing you've just pulled out now? Like, it's like, why did you not tell me this stuff at the very beginning? So I guess I've got to go and find this Fat Man now. So I was like, right, internet, where do I find the Fat Man? Go to Cottonwood Crater. So I thought, right. So this is in the middle of an area that I've never visited before. Right. So I had to do a lot of walking around this bit. And the guide said, to get to this crater, you can either go through a cave, or you can go in through the top. I thought, right, okay. I had a brief look around, and I couldn't see a cave. So I thought, right, I'll go have a walk around the top and see if I can drop down into it. Right. And I walked through like some random farmstead, and then I came to a nuclear test facility center or site. And I was just minding my own business, walking around there. And then suddenly a massive horde of ghouls just start chasing after me in the middle of nowhere, like in this field. And they've got these special like glowy ones as well. So they're like,
oh yeah, the glowing
more
ones.
hard.
Yeah.
So they're running backwards in circles, trying to shoot these hordes, right? These ghouls, and they're pretty fast. So they're getting some good swipes on me. I thought, right, okay, I could do this. I've got some decent weapons, and I did it. I managed to put them down. Like, fine, right, I can carry on. And I took a breather, and then I started carrying on, heading towards my marker. And I come towards an airport now. I can't remember the name of the airport, but I came to an airport, and it's got a large fenced-off area. All right. and it's got a runway and a terminal building and the tower in there. And this airport is at the top of a cliff. And I know I've got to get onto the opposite side of this airport, right? Well, I think I have, because I've never actually been to the place that I need to go. So I was estimating on the map where I needed to go, and I believed it was on the opposite side of this airport. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll follow the fence round to the top of the cliff, and then I'll just, like, you know, shimmy my way around the top. Yeah. But the game's like, no. You can't do that. The game's like, no, yeah, that's not happening. So, okay. So I went back towards the middle of the fence, and there's an entrance into the airport, which is like a collapsed tunnel. So I'm going, like, okay, I'll just walk to the opposite side of the airport. Surely there's going to be an exit onto the other side. Guess what? No, there wasn't. So I just walked around the entire perimeter inside the airport, trying to find an exit. There wasn't. So I had to go back out of the tunnel I'd just come out of, and I went around the opposite side of the fence towards, you know, more inland. Right? And I thought, right, when I get to that side, I'll be able to go around that side of the fence. Logic. So I got around the corner, and then I carried on to the far corner, and conveniently, there was a rock face that just met the very edge of the fence. So it's like, you cannot go past this bit either. It's like, great, I need to get over there. How do I do this now? So I thought, right, I know, because there's a hill higher up. I'll go even higher. Smart man. So I went back up, and I'm walking towards the direction I need to go, and I see bigger hills in front of me. I thought, that's not a good sign. Right? And then out of nowhere, these green laser things go flying past my head, followed by a barrage of missiles. And I turn, and there's about 3 robot things. I'd never seen these before. I don't know what they were. They were like Terminators, but they just annihilated me. They shot me with pinpoint accuracy from miles away. And I was there panicking, jumping against this wall, and it's invisible walls. So you just the game just like, you're not allowed to go past here, and then I just get destroyed. So I'm dead. I reload back from the camp that I initially started from before I went up the cliff and all that. So that was an entire waste of time, right, going up those hills. So I went along the bottom of the cliff face, and eventually I found this cave that I was after, right? And I walk in, and there's this ledge above this open area, and down below are some geckos. So I popped off of these geckos, easy, cannon fodder, easy to do that. And I jumped down, and I'm about to walk through. A legendary gecko rocks up and murders me out of nowhere. Okay.
You're just having the worst luck ever, Mark.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's difficult to listen to, I'm not going to lie.
To be honest, this sounds like an average game of Fallout, to be honest.
Well, but then, so obviously I start that again. I knew the gecko was there now, so I just popped him off as well. So, right, done. I can get through. So I walk through the cave, and now I'm in this crater where the fat man is. So there's a body lying at the bottom of this crater with the fat man. I pick it up, great. Now I could go back to Deathclaw Island. So fast travel back to the camp thing, down the hill, down the cliff, across the river, up the slope, blah, blah, blah. I get round to the bit where I've got to fire it, right? So I'm hiding in the cliff. I whip out the fat man, and guess what?
No ammo.
No ammo?
Correct! There's no ammo in it! So, right. Internet. Where do you find... No, looking back on it, it was a rookie mistake. But
where do you find mini nukes?
Yeah, so internet. Where to find mini nukes? New Vegas. It's like, right, okay, you've got to go to a place called Camp Searchlight, and this is a town that's completely radiated. It's like the air is green, basically. So I'm getting chased around this town by some ghouls because they live there as well. And meanwhile, I'm popping major amounts of Radaway and Radex and things like that to stay away like radiation poisoning. And I work my way to this church, and I go down onto this hatch, and sure enough, on this desk is 2 mini nukes, a whole 2. Lucky me. Right? So I thought, now we're cooking. So back to Deathclaw Island. So
you missed you missed a trick there as well.
I don't want to know.
Okay, I'll not tell you then.
Oh, go on.
I think you
can always go back.
I think you might need a certain perk for it. Have you got when you're making your character, there's a perk you can get. I think it's like the Wonderland.
You know about the Wild
Wasteland?
something?
Wild Wasteland.
No, I haven't.
Right. I'm gonna say if you do that, you get some like strange things that happen in certain places. I don't know if you need it for this, but in that church, I don't know if you need the perk or not, but if you don't, there is a nod to Monty Python, I think, because you can get holy hand grenades in there.
Oh, nice.
So, but Karen, sorry.
So yeah, I've got my mini nukes now. I've got 2 mini nukes. So back to the camp, down the cliff, across the river, up the slope. Also, I thought. I don't know how, but some Deathclaws had respawned, or the ones that didn't exist or didn't see before on this slope. I'm like, I don't have any ammo in my minigun anymore. So I can't really take these out anymore. I'm like, what do I do here? What do I do here? So I'm just like sat in the water observing these Deathclaws for a bit, looking at their patterns. And they went wandering a bit up the slope. I thought, right, I'll go and I'll sneak up the slope. And I'll see if I can sneak my way around the corner onto the top of the cliff edge. So I go, and I'm just turning around onto the cliff edge. And one spots me. Because of course it did. Of course it did. So it starts chasing me over this bunch of rocks at the top of this cliff. And quite funnily, it actually ended up falling off the cliff, which was great for me. Right. So I get to the place where I needed to fire this fat man. And I saved the game, as I knew this may take me a few attempts. Right. And I managed to nuke the group. So there was a group of about like 10 Deathclaws. So I managed to nuke them. And I thought, right, I'll go and get my prize now. And there it was, lying there, the Remnant Power armor suit. So I picked it up. I put it on. Success. And then I turn, and there's one Deathclaw still there. And he comes barreling towards me, jumps at me, swipes at me. Right? Thankfully, it doesn't kill me, because I would have been especially angry if it had. But he battered me, and I managed to kill it. I just got some shots off. I managed to put it down. But in the ensuing chaos, it had damaged my helmet to the point that I couldn't use it. Right. So I wasn't happy about that. Okay. It says this item is too damaged and cannot be worn. So I went through all that, and I can't use this bloody helmet now. Right. And then I looked at the condition of the suit that I was wearing. It was 20%. Or around that, anyway. I thought, right, okay. I know you can get repair jobs. You know, I know there's people in the wastelands who can fix things up. So I thought, okay. My final act is I'll go and I'll get them to repair my suits. So I went to the Mojave outpost because I knew there was a repair guy there. It's like, here, fix my things. Here's my helmet. Please fix. That'll be 5,000 credits, please. What? How much? 5,000 credits? I don't have that. I don't have that. What?
Caps.
Yeah, caps. Yes, I don't have that.
I'm being annoying.
I was lost for words. So I'd been through all that to achieve a helmet I couldn't use and a suit with 20%, and that was it. And that was my life. So I put the pad down and I sat there for about what felt like an eternity, just staring blankly into space, just thinking, what have I done with my entire day? Because that literally lasted all day. I was doing that from about 9 a.m. to about 5.
Well, 5 a.m.
Prattling about. I thought, and I was in despair and anger. And that's, that's what I told you about because we played FIFA later that night. And this is the despair that I was feeling, because I mentioned this briefly to Nath, that I was a bit annoyed at a game. And this was what it was.
Oh.
So there you go. Apart from that, I'm really enjoying the game. But that...
Are you sure?
That story of doing that... Oh my God. That is... I'm lost for words.
I just wish you'd have streamed it. It'd have been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious, wouldn't it? But
you should have started your YouTube series, day one in the Mojave.
I probably should have. But no, it is a fantastic game. Outside of that, but
absolutely, it's definitely my favorite Fallout.
But I've only scratched the surface because I'm just getting pulled into all these side quests and things like that.
I'm surprised you didn't start doing some of the side quests for Veronica, because she's heavily linked to the Brotherhood of Steel as well.
I think I might have done. I can't remember.
You might have. You do some stuff, and then you get to a point where you have to make a decision between her or the Brotherhood of Steel.
But no, I'm sure that's going to last me up until the next pod, because I know I've got so much of the main story still to do. And this is the thing about this game: you just get drawn into other things, don't you? It's just you meet one person. Oh, go here. Oh, there's another person here. Oh, tell me about your life. Oh, you want to send me go and do that thing? Oh, I'll go and do that thing. And then you just completely forget about the story. Well, there you go.
That's why we love Bethesda games, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I do. I'm loving it. I can understand why everybody seems to love it. We'll see how that goes. It can't get any worse than that. What I've just had though. So I'll take that.
I imagine it can, but hopefully not.
Well, we shall
see.
We shall see. So go on, Nath. What you've been playing?
So I'll start with something I purchased because I inducted a new handheld into my family of consoles. So this is the last thing that I thought I'd be buying, but I got a Steam Deck.
Big old Steam Deck.
Big boy. I was
going to say, why did you make the purchase?
Because the Steam summer sale was on and there was up to 20% off Steam Decks, and it's the first time I've ever seen them being on offer. And I know when they first came out roughly a year ago that they were notoriously hard to get hold of, and there was months. You had to wait months on a waiting list. And I thought to myself, let's just give it a go. Because there are actually some games on Steam that I want to play that I've not been able to play. So I thought there's a few games there that I can get, and obviously I can take it with me. I've got my Switch, but obviously some games that I can't play, so that'll kind of fill the gaps. But I'm enjoying it so far. So what I did was I went for the 64 gig version and upgraded it to a 512 gigabyte option. So I did the upgrade myself. So I followed a YouTube tutorial, and it took me about an hour and a half to do, but beats paying extra 150 quid or whatever it would be for the 512 model. So yeah, and I did it successfully, did not break it. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, that would have been an expensive mistake.
I was watching this video and it said, right, you need to ground yourself, for static electricity, because if you touch it, it can fry the internals. I'm like, oh no, what shall I do? And I went outside and I just grabbed my washing line, just to make sure I was grounded. Not like the string bit, but the metal bit that goes to the ground, just
the string bit.
Just to confirm that bit. But yeah, I did that, and I've also tried to flash Windows onto it, what feels like 17 times, and it's not gone too well. So hopefully I can do that soon, because I'm wanting to install like the Epic game library on there as well, and a few emulators and things, just so I can use it for other stuff. But no, it's a good bit of kit, to be honest. Like when you switch it on, you sign into your Steam account, set up Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff, and then you're away. I think it only took about 15, 20 minutes to set up. So once you've got your Wi-Fi connection, downloads all the updates, you sign in, and then off you go. So off the back of buying that, along with my Steam Deck, I bought a few games. So the first one that I got was Beast Battle Simulator. Now, this is a sim game where you can pit dinosaurs, animals, humans against each other. And
Nice.
you can yeah. And I went through a phase of watching a ton of these videos on YouTube, and it was hilarious. It was like 5 megalodons versus a pterodactyl, just absolutely insane stuff like that. Or 3 antelopes with laser beams versus a triceratops. And I was like, I have got to play this when I get a machine that is capable of playing Steam games. So that was like the first thing that I downloaded. So
should be good for betting this.
That's it. Who's going to win, the Megalodon or 2 Velociraptors? But no, I'm having an absolute blast with it. Now, the game itself, when it first loads, it prompts what looks like a Windows 98 screen. And I decided to look into this because I thought it can't be that old. And it turns out the game was released on the 22nd of February 2018. So it's a lot newer than I thought it was. Because I did bring my Steam Deck into work, I think it was on Thursday, and I think I showed you, Matt, that little box that came up, and it looked like it was from an old Windows 98 machine. So maybe it was just an aesthetic choice that they wanted to go for. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it though. So there's a few different modes to it. So there's different challenges you can do. So for example, it'll say you're being attacked by 20 penguins, stop them. So you get like $2,000 you can use to buy other creatures. And for example, what I did with that, I just bought as many velociraptors as I could, and they were absolutely crunching the heck out of these penguins. But there's one challenge that I'm stuck on at the minute. So it's a T-Rex, and you've got 18 pigs, and what you've got to do is fit laser beams and cannons onto the pigs to attack the T-Rex. And yeah, I'm failing miserably at that one at the minute, so hopefully I'll be able to get that one done soon. But it's just absolutely insane stuff like that. Or it could be like you've got a pile of boxes and you need to kind of build a team that can knock the boxes down without killing themselves when the boxes fall. But it is really good, like the different challenges and imagination they put into it. But I like playing this like football mini game. So if you choose a football pitch, it basically plays out as you can set up 2 different teams of basically animals and humans, and they play on this football pitch, and first to 3 goals wins. Now, one thing I've found playing this game, Phoenixes are absolutely OP, because what they'll do is they'll grab the ball and fly it into the air so none of the other creatures can hold the ball, and then they'll just drop it and then just tap it in. But yeah, that's absolutely insane. And then there's obviously just the normal, you've basically built 2 different teams, let them fight it out and see who wins, and just look at the carnage as these creatures absolutely decimate each other. But there's different classes of human, and there's one called, I think it's like a mage or something like that, and they basically rain down meteorites and absolutely just blow the entire field up. Or they're not fast enough to do that and they just get took out by the smallest little dinosaur. But swings and roundabouts. But I am having a really good time with that game. That's the game that I've played the most. Just working on different combinations and just having an absolute blast with it. And one of the best £5 I've ever spent, I think. Love it.
That reminds me of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
Yeah.
Which I've got.
I think it is similar vein.
Yeah. Do like that.
Yeah. Good fun. Now, in the last podcast, I mentioned that I've been playing Fortnite, but the Only Up edition. So, Only Up is a Steam game, and I actually decided to buy the proper one to give it a go. And I don't know about how it runs normally, but on the Steam Deck, it's not great. Now, it runs at about what feels like 6 FPS, and the controls are not fantastic. So on the Steam Deck, there's two ways of controlling. So you've got the analog stick there, and they've also got these little touch options. Now, it seems better with the touch option than the analog stick, but it's still very choppy. And with a game like that focuses on the platforming side of it, and you need to be very accurate with the jumps, it's just impossible to play. So I'm hoping eventually there'll be some sort of patch or something to improve it. But right now, I've played it for it. I played it for about 5 minutes and I've just left it because there's no way I can do it as it is now anyway. So we'll wait and hopefully that one will get sorted. Now, other than the Steam Deck, I've been playing a bit of FIFA as always, and I decided to set up a career mode for Joking Dolphin. So I did the same thing last year, but I decided to do another one because I finished my 15-year career with Sheffield Wednesday. So I decided to set myself a new challenge, raising the Joking Dolphin from League 2 all the way to Champions League glory. So that's the aim right now. So what I did, I booted Bradford out of the Football League. So we replaced Bradford in League 2. I had a half-star team and then £1 million budget to spend. And then I went on my journey. So I've completed one full season so far. We got promoted out of League 2 as champions.
Hey.
We actually got to the FA Cup final as well, but lost to West Ham, unfortunately. But on the way to get into the final, we beat Everton and Liverpool, which both
Scouts.
We beat them both in extra time because we managed to get a fairly commanding lead. They brought it back to 3-3 on both occasions, and then we got an extra couple of goals. We just had too much for them. So. Yeah, but I have got a bit of an OP team for the league. I mean, because I've got promoted to League 1 now, and I've got a couple of 80-rated midfielders that I've got from like the free transfers. I don't know why they've joined my team, but I chucked them about 15 grand a week, which is pretty good money for League 1. So, but yeah, at the minute, tearing that up, top at league at the minute. Though we did lose to Wigan, which was quite annoying. But
how'd you let that happen?
I don't know. I didn't let it happen. It just happened.
How could you?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we can win the Johnston's Paint. No, it's not Johnston's Paint Trophy anymore, is it? The
Papa John's.
Pizza Cup. Papa John's, that's it. I'm hoping we can win the Papa John's Trophy before we get promoted to the Championship. So
other pizza companies are available.
Yeah. But yeah, been playing a few games. I've been playing a lot of that. And having a good time with it. Now, the last game that I've been playing is Dead Island 2 that I alluded to in the last podcast. Now, I've still not completed it yet, but I do want to talk about it. And I'm so close to the end, it's so annoying, but anyway, we'll get there. So, just a bit about the game. So, this is set 15 years after the events of the first Dead Island game. And the US military has been forced to put Los Angeles under quarantine because of a new, stronger zombie outbreak, as they do. And basically, the game starts with a cutscene and you're on a plane, and it basically shows you a few different characters. And then the plane's about to crash. And then at that stage, you get to choose what character you want. Now, I thought to myself, I checked a few of the characters and I thought, I'll choose Ryan, this guy, because I thought he's a firefighter. He's going to be strong. His stats are pretty central, so he's not really good at anything in particular, but I think he'll be a pretty good character to play as. Now, subsequently to picking Ryan, I found out it was actually a firefighter-themed stripper instead of a firefighter. So yeah,
you knew.
Yeah,
I didn't. I just thought we were both. But yeah. Anyway, so I've got Ryan as my guy. So basically, in the game, there's this actress called Emma Jaunt who you save from a zombie as they get out of the plane, and you meet them at their house, which is like the hub area in Beverly Hills, and then from there you basically cut your way through Hollywood and take out as many zombies as you can along the way. You can sneak past them as well, But there's different sections, so you can go to Santa Monica, you can go to Bel Air, Beverly Hills, you can go to Hollywood Boulevard, Venice Beach, and then as you go through these places, there's also bosses that you can fight as well. So quite early on in the game, you'll find yourself going to this hotel, and you've got to fight your way through this hotel, and eventually you'll get into this like, not really gymnasium, but this like function room where a wedding happened, and you end up fighting this roided up bride. Honestly, she was even hencher than Ryan, but that was difficult because if she grabbed you, you were pretty much done. And other zombies like fell through all these like the ceiling and stuff, so you had all that to contend with, and that's probably one of the most difficult things, that the bosses that come along every now and again. Now, the second boss is in a film studio, and this one was where you wouldn't like this, to be honest, Matt, because there's this spider that like spits acid, and you can use that as like a mechanism to try and attack the acid spitting zombie to like melt it away. But that one was difficult. At that point, I got killed by that one about 4 times, and I decided, I've never done this on a game before, but I decided to put my lobby on open so anyone could join my game. And I was like wandering around for ages, like, please, somebody just come into my game so you can help me, because I just need help. I need to get this done so I can carry on. But nobody ever came, and I decided to just give it another go. And yeah, that's me. And as they say, 5th time lucky, I managed to do it. So that was good. But I didn't. What I did, I focused on the main guy and killed him, and then I cleaned up all the other zombies that were moseying around afterwards, because I think I tried to get rid of the horde first, and then I started getting killed by the acid spitting zombie, where I should have really focused on them first, got them out of the way, and then kind of divide and conquer on the other guys. But yeah, got there.
Wait, so do you not end up like fighting the spider?
No, the spider is a prop that you can activate using a control panel, and you can get it to like spit acid and stuff to aid you. So
that's strange. Okay.
Yeah. So the spider is not your enemy, Matt. It's a friend.
I mean,
it's always my enemy. But yeah. And then there's also a boss, and it's just basically when you go to Venice Beach, there's this roided out dude that's got an absolute crap ton of health, and it took me nearly all my ammo, all my best weapons to try and take him down. Oh, and that's one thing actually. In terms of the weapons, there's tons of stuff you can get, and you can upgrade it as well. So you can get bats, you can get like pipes and stuff, knives, golf clubs, and you can like fit electric things onto them so that they electrocute the zombies. You can fit guns onto them as well, and you get guns eventually as well, which makes it a lot easier for crowd control. But it is an absolutely fantastic zombie game, honestly. I'm not saying this because I'm stuck, but get it so that you can help me. Because I've got to a bit now where I'm in this army base, and there is just too many zombies coming at me to manage. And I've tried all that I can. I've blown up these like explosives to try and get through them. I've used all the health buffs I can. I've leveled up my weapons as much as I can. And there's nothing else that I feel that I can do for the minute. So I need someone to help me on this one, because I might have tried the acid spitting zombie one 5 times, but I've tried 14 times to deal with this horde, and each time that probably takes between 5 and I'd say 15 minutes. So it does take a lot of time. I must have put about 4 hours in to try and do this one bit, and I just can't get through it.
Oh no.
Yeah. I've taken some time away from the game so that it's not as raw now, but I might give it one more try. Now I've had chance to let it sink in a bit. I might just look on YouTube and just see how somebody else did it, because I've been trying to stay off of that because I don't want to like see any spoilers or anything, because the story is very surface level and it's very Hollywood as the place that you're fighting through, but it's good fun. It's a really fun game, but there are bottlenecks in there that make it a bit difficult. But that's what I've been playing.
And quite an extraordinary what we've been playing that all was. So if you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly on Tuesdays. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com. Also feel free to follow us on all social media platforms to continue the conversation. You can find Joking Dolphin on YouTube and Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. Until next time, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Toodles.